We are joined now by our friend Riley Gaines. She's got a new book out, Swimming Against the Current, Fighting for Common Sense in a World That Has Lost Its Mind. It comes out today. Swimming Against the Current, because she's a great swimmer, so that all makes sense. And she's also at OutKick, which Clay founded. And Riley, thanks for being here with us. So how do you think it's going? As people see... you are speaking at college campuses across the country. We've had you on to talk about how some of that is gone. The left gets very upset when you say men are men, women are women. These aren't the same thing. But I'm sure you saw this this male track star that was just absolutely annihilating his female competition because he says he's a woman now. Where does the fight stand? Where does the battle stand right now?
Well, Buck, let me clarify one thing really quick. In your intro, you said I'm a great swimmer. I call myself a swammer nowadays. I'd probably drown if I got in the water. But look,
I'm very buoyant. That's my special.
Hey,
Go ahead.
me too now. Look, this issue, of course, it's becoming more and more common. It keeps happening at every level. We see it at colleges, we see it at high schools, we see it at middle schools, we see it at elementary schools. This story you're referring to, actually, I don't even know which one because there were multiple stories this past week in track and field of boys annihilating girls. We saw it in Washington. We saw it in Oregon. It's insane is what it is. But you asked me where the issue stands. While we keep seeing these negative stories, I really and truly do believe that the tide is turning. I believe every day people are waking up. Speaking to the story in Oregon, we saw for really the first time, again, it's the same story. A mediocre man becomes a record smasher on the women's side. He won the state championship in the women's 200-meter dash. He stands atop the podium, and the crowd booed. That would not have happened 2 years ago. So I think it's a telltale sign that people are waking up. People are understanding that no one is immune to this, like I think so many of us thought before we've seen the trajectory of this now.
Riley, what is the Biden administration? First of all, congrats on the book. Second, what is the Biden administration trying to do with the way that they define Title IX, which could potentially enshrine men pretending to be women in women's athletics all across the spectrum of competition? What are they doing?
Yeah, it's not even what they're trying to do, Clay. It's what they have done. The Biden administration has they rewrote Title IX. Of course, Title IX was the federal civil rights law that once prevented sex-based discrimination on educational programs that receive federal funding, colleges, YMCAs, things like that, high schools even. But what they have done, they have taken this only 37 words in its original implementation in 1972, with one word being activity, which I think allowed Title IX to be what it was most notable for in giving equal opportunities in sports. Of course, a lot broader than that, but what it's most notable for, they took this 37-word piece of legislation and rewrote it to a almost 500,000 word proposal, 1,577 pages long. Again, from 37 words, that's insane. But really, what this does is it equates, in a nutshell, it equates sex to gender identity. So instead of sex-based protections, now there are protections enshrined by your gender identity. This now means that men would have full access to bathrooms, locker rooms, changing spaces. This means that men can potentially be housed in dorm rooms with women. This means that men can now take academic and athletic scholarships away from women. Your speech would be compelled. So if you, right, a professor or a student, if you use the biologically incorrect pronouns, the preferred pronouns, if you don't use preferred pronouns, then you would be guilty and charged with sexual harassment under this new rewrite. Not the man parading around your locker room. No, to President Biden, he said several times, those are some of the most brave and inspiring people he's ever seen. But you calling a spade is grounds for sexual harassment.
It's insane, but this is the country, unfortunately, that we are increasingly forced to live in. And we're speaking to Riley Gaines. She's got a new book out today, Swimming Against the Current. Riley, if I am correct here, and I say that thinking that I'm almost always correct, you have put out there challenges to different people who want to debate on this issue. Is there anyone of note who will publicly debate that men do not have an advantage over women as competitors in athletics? Like, has anyone taken you up on this of note, or does everyone just push for the policy and then run away when you ask for an open exchange of ideas on it?
We've made public calls for debate on this show. I know we've publicly called on Keith Olbermann, that guy. We've publicly called on Megan Rapinoe. I'll go even further. I would love to talk with Billie Jean King. What a more, I guess, notable person to talk to on this topic, given the fact that she's really who we have to accredit Title IX to. She played in the Battle of the Sexes and she won, and it was this huge feat. Yeah, well, now Billie Jean King is actively fighting for male inclusion into women's sports and women's spaces. No, I've reached out to CNN, I've reached out to MSNBC, and I've either gotten no response or they've responded back and said, we're not going to give you a platform to spread your hate. But you know what that tells me? It tells me that they don't have a rebuttal for anything that I'm saying, right? What happened to follow the science? They are certainly not doing that now.
Riley, I encourage everybody to go check out your book and to share it with their daughters and also their sons, because I think people increasingly are coming around to how crazy this is. But I know you saw this. We shared it at OutKick. One of our writers got Dawn Staley to say that a man identifying as a woman should be able to compete in women's college basketball, in her opinion. We then reached, she's the national champion, University of South Carolina women's basketball coach, for people who don't know. OutKick then reached out to 15 other women's NCAA tournament coaches. In particular, every women's coach that made the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. What does it say that Dawn Staley said, yes, men should be able to play? The other 15 wouldn't even answer OutKick's question. I do think we're winning this battle, but how much cowardice is there still out there?
It's in every realm. That's why I believe our nation is in decline for several reasons, one of which we live in a godless society, but two, it's because we have weak leaders, again, at every level. We have weak leaders in academia. We have weak leaders in corporate America. We have weak leaders, of course, within our government. Even our spiritual leaders, so it seems, are unwilling to take a stand on these topics that they have deemed controversial. But let's be very clear. It is the least controversial thing to say that both sexes are deserving of equal opportunities. How in the world have we reached a point in time where it's controversial to say that women deserve privacy in areas of undressing? I mean, that would have been common sense 5 years ago. A DA would have followed a man who goes into a woman's bathroom, into a woman's locker room, into that locker room, and arrested him on charges of sexual harassment, voyeurism, indecent exposure. The list goes on. But now, as I said, it's deemed brave. We are told we are the problem if we oppose this. So again, the cowardice, it's incredibly sad, because I can guarantee you, I really can, even speaking for Dawn Staley, I shouldn't say speaking for, but I imagine she knows the differences between men and women. No one would know who Dawn Staley was if she wasn't afforded the rights to play women's basketball. And look, that's not to say she wasn't an incredible athlete. She obviously had an incredible coaching career. I think her record the last 3 years was 109-3. I mean, that's unheard of. But she can be two things at once, a great coach, but also a sellout. And that's exactly what she's proven herself to be.
Riley Gaines, everybody, the book, Swimming Against the Current, Fighting for Common Sense in a World That's Lost Its Mind, out today. Get your copy. Riley Gaines, thank you for doing what you do. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys, so thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you heard, President Trump apparently appreciates this too. I'm just saying. You know?
I saw that. He gave a shout out. He was trying to impress Riley in Lexington, which not a bad move by him, because she's pretty popular in Kentucky. And let's be honest, Kentucky Wildcats don't have a lot of athletic success of late to be celebrating, particularly in the SEC. They need Riley back. I think she might be off the mic, because that's the only way I can take a shot.
was gonna say, I feel like
no.
Oh,
I'm just
he's picking a
waiting to
fight.
make some comment about Rocky Top here, Clay. I'm biting my tongue. That's what I'm doing.
Hey, you know what? Maybe this is your year in football for the first time in 80.
That is what Tennessee fans have said for so long. Next year's our year. Next year's our year. I'll be waiting, Clay.
I don't know if you guys have ever been in a dinner
2nd.
party where people started screaming at each other in a foreign language, but that's kind of how I feel right now.
Welcome to the SEC, Buck. This is what it's like.
November 2nd, Neyland Stadium, Clay. We'll see you there.
Balls
All
by
right.
30.
All right. Good stuff. Going to get Google Translate going here. All right. Look, Clay and I have all the energy we need to save America, but, some days it's easier than others. If you have a subscription to Chalk's Male Vitality Stack, you've got an edge. You see these guys out there, they're all whining. What am I going to do if Trump becomes president? These guys need Chalk. It's ridiculous. Men's bodies lose a vital source of energy as they get older. T levels, testosterone levels go down. See all these guys in Hollywood, by the way, a lot of them are taking all kinds of stuff to try to boost their testosterone, but some of that stuff is really sketchy. Guess what? You can take something natural to help. Chalk's Male Vitality Stack set of supplements is formulated with natural ingredients to help turn T levels in the right direction. In fact, if you get yourself set up with a subscription to Chalk's Male Vitality Stack, you'll notice a difference in just a few months. Chalk's on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk is offering a massive sale on each subscription. That's right. You want to subscribe. Any subscription for life. Huge sale on those subs. Go to chalk.com. CHOQ.com. Use my name, Buck, as your promo code to unlock this offer. That's CHOQ.com. Use promo code Buck. Offer only valid for subscriptions. Chalk.com. Promo code Buck.